Have you seen the thing about The Quiet on Set, the new documentary from Max?
No, what's that about?
It's exposing all of Dan Schneider.
Nickelodeon!
Yes, this is right up your alley.
Yes, Nickelodeon.
I saw this on the way here about it. It's getting a lot of buzz right now. Apparently, Drake Bell was saying a bunch of how he got inappropriately groped, and it's a lot of Dan Schneider. There might be a trailer for it, but it's on Max, I believe. But this is right up. If you're not yelling about it in this episode, you should at least in the next episode.
I should scream about it. Yeah,
you should. Well,
we just OD'd on the Epstein stuff. It's like here's the thing, folks. This stuff will never get solved. I don't know what to tell you. I feel bad. Well, here's the way you an AI kid. You can't an AI kid. How about that? Ain't that the answer? Let's watch the trailer for this. Amanda Bynes doc.
Yeah.
You know? Where's she at?
Yeah, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of anybody who pitches kid
I feel
anything
bad.
is a little
I
off.
feel bad, man, because Dan Schneider was the one who.
He's like, the future's kids.
Right.
Yeah, that's his whole plan.
Right. And it ain't. I've said it. It's AI. It's robots.
AI kids. There we go.
Now,
he always looked like he's wearing a fat suit of like a character, though.
I know. And he unfortunately made her crazy, right?
He looks like Goldmember in the last Austin Powers.
No, he's
the
the villain. Keep the trailer going. He's an actual villain.
He's like, hey, kids need to be monetized.
And that this town will just never function quite the way that it did is because we know all of these things now. We have all of this information about how hard, now, which is good because people can protect themselves in the future. But like, now that we know this, you're inherently suspect of everything. You know?
Well, any kids show you see, you're going to be like, what's going on in the background?
Right.
Who's filming this? Let me see what the director looks like. Is it also a kid? Oh, it's an adult? Check him.
Right. There's a thing, and it's just the Me Too movement, all these things have like made people aware of these really punishing corporate structures that allowed these monsters to do all this shit. That's why a lot of people are doing stuff independently and having a lot of success because you don't have to, you know?
I mean, the worst part is he was making great TV shows. That's the worst
part. They all
part.
were. Here's the problem. They all were. They all were. Kevin Spacey, they all were. They all were. You know, this is a terrible thing. And I don't know what to tell people about it other than it's not worth it. Good TV is not worth a bunch of kids. But there's got to be, like, I don't know, some other way, like, maybe allow them to be, like, really, really anti-Semitic and racist.
The kids or the directors?
The people that used to be
Gotcha.
They got to have a taboo.
They need an arc.
They need a taboo.
Yeah, they need to bring them back for, like, you know, when they do the Survivor.
What about
it's like
a
the
fat
villain
Nazi
season.
lesbian? She has sex with people of her own age, but she's a fat Nazi. And
that
she
checks
smokes.
a lot of boxes right there. There, and the cigarettes, too.
You can't give these jobs to normies. Yeah. But we can't have kids and women being thrown into a pit. So what can we do? We got to give them to people that are a little nuts because those are people that make good shit. Maybe it could be like Blaustein, just have a foot fetish.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I mean, Dan Schneider loved feet.
He did.
He everywhere. His feet and all these photos of Nickelodeon used to be a foot. The logo.
Yeah, why was that's a great point. Why was the logo of Nickelodeon a foot?
There was also something about, like, on iCarly, he had
But
fans
let me be honest with you, does that not look like a happy couple? All right. Anyway, it's a joke.
But he had kids send in foot photos for, like, an iCarly like contest. People would kids would take photos of feet and, like, send it in to Dan at Nickelodeon.com.
It's so crazy, like, that this one guy's foot fetish became a network. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, look at this.
Like, this guy's foot fetish became a literal network.
This was 2009. He goes, if you have weird toes, please send it to us. I don't even think the show was on in 2009. I think this was like 4 years later. He's like, who wants a reboot?
Yeah, let's go.
Speaking of boots,
yeah,
get those dogs out.
It really is. Now, he's not on X anymore, right?
He's alive, correct? Somewhere?
He's somewhere.
He's probably still in LA. He's probably still taking generals, being like, cool, shoes off.
Yeah, I wonder where Dan Schneider would be now.
Is that his profile?
Is that him?
Did he retweet the link?
No.
Yeah, this is the first time he tweeted in 5 years.
Okay.
Oh, he talks about it.
Hold on.
That's not Dan Schneider.
This is Dan right here.
Okay, by the way,
He looks better.
this is great. He's actually addressing this. Let's go.
I really appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity
They're
to talk
sitting
to you
so
about,
close to each
what
other.
we saw over the last 2 nights.
I'm really glad you're here because I believe this is important.
By the way,
sure.
you know where this should have happened. Hey, Mom. Thanks for doing this, Mom. Well, in the documentary, Mom, it says that you were like, well, they suggested you were like a mama. How do you like Austin, Mom? It's great. We love it here, Mom. How great would that be? What if Dan Schneider and Rogan, he went on Rogan and then Rogan just talked about how great Austin was? But the people are friendly, Mom. Now you're accused of kids. What is that, Mom? All right, let's see what he says here.
We've got a lot of things to unpack. But before I dive into my list of topics that I'd like to discuss, is there anything you'd like to start off with?
Absolutely. Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret. And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
Let's talk about the massages.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Mossad. You were going to say, let's talk about the Mossad. I was going to be like, oh my God, this is getting good.
Yesterday.
All these dudes love massages.
Disturbing.
Well, it's the way to get people in.
Yeah, okay.
Wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position.
It's like the modern day trench coat.
I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also may have felt uncomfortable. So I owe them
This
an
is
apology
so
as well.
surreal.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw,
That's not the issue.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever, period, the end, no excuses. Most TV writers, comedy writers have been in writers' rooms and they are aware that a lot of times
my
there
dick
are
was out, but I don't
inappropriate-
think that's the issue
inappropriate
here.
Topics come up.
Yeah, it's like an odd.
That's
how I
sticking
write,
point.
yeah.
Well, here's what's interesting about this, right? This is what's interesting about this. This is a very interesting. No one advised me to do this, by the way. There's no one, no PR team was like, get out ahead of it.
Yeah, he could have fallen off the face of the earth and nobody would have said anything.
He's doing this because he's basically trying to he's trying, because this documentary that comes out, this is like an asteroid, right? This is a meteor coming, right?
A lot of spotlight on him.
Now he's like, okay, I could shoot it with a missile. It's like there's all those disaster movies are like, we hope it burns up by the time it gets into the atmosphere. You know, they're like, maybe King Charles will die. Like,
Yeah, he's banking on something big.
So he's going out there now and going, okay, none of that happened. This is a big thing. What if I do an open and show, like a 20-minute interview?
Yeah.
Where I just talk about. Now, here's the thing. The beginning of this starts with him being very, conciliatory. I'm sorry. I'm da-da-da-da-da. Eventually, he'll start to defend himself. This is the only reason
20
to
minutes,
do something.
yeah.
Skip.
You can't
Travis,
say sorry
go
for this
10
long.
minutes in. There's no way.
I always think they should put brand deals in the middle
Right,
of it just to really
right.
piss people off.
Yeah.
And before I tell you what I really did behind those closed doors, we're going to talk about Factor meals, everybody.
Right. Let's see, because eventually this turns. Let's see.
Very evident, as it is in the second one, and then the first movie I ever made for Nickelodeon, which starred Kenan and Kel, and every show I did after that had a lead black actor in it. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, see?
And not only am I proud that they were in my shows, I'm
It has an arc.
exceptionally
He's
proud
winning you over at the
achievements
end.
they've
No,
had beyond
it was never about apologizing. It was only about getting to this point of it
Right.
where he can go, hey, I just want to let everyone know that we were out there first. I was the first woke file. He goes, I was the first woke file. He goes, you know how many racist files were in this town? He goes, I also wanted to have sex with black children.
Yeah, no apology
Yeah,
video
man.
needs to be 20 minutes where they're not hyping themselves up.
Unreal.
It could be 2 minutes.
Unreal.
But the 20, can you do like a one-word click over just see what he's talking about? But that's hilarious.
And say this is not a good situation.
Okay.
So I decided I'm going to do what most showrunners do, which is you're not
Whip
on
my
the
cock
set.
out.
There's a director there to shoot it. I'll go up to the writer's room. I'll work on the next script. But because everybody was so used to me caring about every detail of every show so much, for me not to be on the set, yeah, maybe some people thought I got banned.
So it was more of an
How does it
assumption
end, baby?
because
What is
this
his
guy's
plug-in?
usually
How
does this end?
here.
Is he plugging
Let's
tour
watch
dates?
the last couple of minutes.
See me at the Omaha Funny Bone this weekend.
He's like, I've got a great new movie coming out.
What's it going to mean within your family? Let them find out. And then that way, if a kid doesn't want to be on a TV show, they can opt out.
Yeah.
That psychologist, that therapist could come to us and say, this kid doesn't want to do it.
Right, it's the
or
kid's fault.
Their parents
Therapist.
aren't
It's the kids.
understanding.
He's like, if
what's
your kid
good.
doesn't want to be, have a therapist. Let us know. Have a therapist come. If nobody wants,
He's like, I'm not going to change.
Yeah,
But if they got a therapist.
if your kid can't handle some balls on the shoulder, couple of fun uncle tricks, you can have a therapist. Have a therapist.
Break it up.
Break it up because
Yeah.
otherwise it's like, hey man, I'm not going to change. Right, get rid of that Dan Schneider. Everyone rehabilitating his image. Dan Schneider
Wow.
breaks his silence after watching that documentary. Are you a feet guy?
I'm not a foot guy. They don't do
Interesting.
anything. I've tried to have sex with a foot once, didn't do anything for me.
Right.
The positioning was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I did like you kind of like move it around a little bit.
Yeah, I feel you.
Didn't
on
really
that.
do anything
Yeah,
for me.
Interesting.
Anything for you?
Maybe a little, but
Oh,
nothing
okay.
crazy.
Okay.
Nothing. It's not like it's just like a taboo thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like a thing that's like
It's just there.
it's there.
Yeah.
It's not something you should not engage with.
Yeah, if there's a charcuterie board, like I'm gonna try a little bit of
Yeah,
everything.
you're not gonna. You should not engage with it. But I wouldn't set up a network with a logo of a foot.
No.
Like
No,
that's a huge. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the foot, but the idea that it's the entire rationale for that guy's life.
Yeah, maybe he was just trying to do it so big. It's like, what? That's ironic. I put that
Yeah.
up there just for fun.
Yeah.
Or he wanted to see it every day he got to the office.
No,
He's like,
he
"Fuck
wanted,
yeah."
I mean, he was like, this is my mission. This is my
Yeah.
thing. This is what I've done. This is my life.
Yeah, not looking great for him.
It's not looking great for him, but here's the deal. There is a world in which he runs as RFK's VP. Perhaps. We got to really reach the children. And Dan, listen, Dan has had some problems, but he's basically addressed all of those. He liked getting massages. He was overweight. He had a lot of joint pain, a lot of joint issues.
And he has a therapist now.
He has a therapist now. If the kids come in now, their therapist will say, do I want Dan to touch me or not? And that's really all we can do. We have to go from the children.